Hi everybody, my name is Rhiannon and I am a marketing executive here at Accommodation for Students, and I'm also a recent graduate. And I'm here to talk to you today about how to make the most out of your Easter holidays, especially if you're in your final year and you have things like exams and dissertation deadlines coming up. I think the Easter holidays are an excellent time just to sort of get ahead with all these sort of upcoming deadlines, and it is really important to take advantage of it just to put yourself in the best position when term resumes. So I'm going to sort of talk to you a bit about what I did, what I'd recommend, what, if I could go back, what I would have done differently, and sort of just give you an idea of what you should be doing. I would say firstly it's really important to give yourself a bit of a break, because burnout is a real thing and you do need to sort of make sure you have got the momentum to keep going until your final deadline. This could be, you know, like the end of May, you've got 2 more months, so you don't want to completely burn yourself out over Easter before, you know, the hard graft of final term kicks in. So do give yourself a break, make sure you go and see your friends, go home for a bit, you know, do things that you enjoy still. Don't spend the whole of Easter in the library or behind your desk. Like, you know, it's Easter break. It is a break. You need to give yourself that time. Secondly, in terms of going home, some people go home for all of Easter break, but I personally think it's a great idea to stay at uni and really make like the most of the facilities you've got at uni. You know, if you're a library person, you've got free reign of that library. Like the second and first years probably won't be there. So, you know, you can really take advantage of the library. If you need a book out, it's there. You've got all your stuff with you, you're kind of more focused, and a lot of people, as I said, will have gone home, so it'll be a bit quieter and you'll know, you know, I'm here to focus, I'm here to get stuff done. So I would really recommend staying at uni if that's an option for you. Obviously, you know, some people's accommodation doesn't run over the holidays, or it's actually harder to focus at uni, so do consider your personal situation. But for me, I found like it really worked to stay at uni for I stayed for about half of the Easter holidays, and realistically I think I should have stayed for more. But I think thirdly, the best way to ensure you get the most out of your Easter holidays is to make a plan at the start of the Easter holidays of what you can get done. So I would personally look at your deadlines, when they are, how long away they are, and use this to sort of gauge what you should be doing over Easter. So for example, if you've actually got a really big gap between your dissertation and your exams, you can probably leave your exam revision until you've handed in your dissertation and really just grind out on the dissertation. But if you've only got, say, a week, it's a great opportunity to get ahead with your exam revision and make a bit of headway with your dissertation, because in the sort of weeks approaching your dissertation you will solely be focusing on that. But yeah, that's a judgment call you need to make. Can I get away with leaving my exam revision? And once you know how long you've got before all these important deadlines, you can sort of plan out what you need to do, what topics you need to cover, what lectures you still haven't like attended or, you know, reviewed, and how much of your dissertation you've got left to write, research. You can sort of, like, you're not going to know the exact timings, but you can make a vague plan of what like realistically would be good for you to have done by the end of Easter, and you can sort of start allocating tasks to like set weeks or set days. I think it's also important to establish if you will need to do your dis and your exam revision simultaneously, or if you can do it one then one. So I personally had a week between my dis hand-in and my exams, and I did my dis and then my exam revision, which was probably not the best move. It did sort of work, and I did tiny bits of exam revision coming up to like during the dis, sort of early on, before my dis deadline was really fast approaching, so sort of like a month before the dis deadline. Like I did little bits just to sort of get the ball rolling with it, and I sort of made sure I'd established how much I needed to do for my exam revision before I sort of started making proper headway with my dis. So yeah, it's important to establish that. But yeah, if you make a rough plan of the topics you need to cover with your revision, and this is assuming you've got exams and a dis, some people only like have one or the other, but if you make a rough plan of topics that need covering in your revision and sections and like readings and things you need to do for your dis, you can make a rough plan and you've got something to follow, which just gives you a bit of purpose. Because if you've not got a plan this in advance of the deadline, it's kind of easy to be like, oh, it's fine, like I've got weeks, but you kind of haven't considered how much you've got to do. So yeah, just having that structure and something to follow, and you wake up in the morning, you don't need to think about what you need to do, it's like already written down. That really helps. I've sort of already touched on this, but over your Easter holidays, when you're like, you know, you're not in teaching, you've got, you know, whole days, whole weeks to kill, it's a great time to just make sure that you've gone over lectures you didn't understand, or you've gone and like actually done lectures that you've missed, or like readings that you've missed, just so that that's done and you don't need to worry about it, and make sure you've got good sets of notes to come back to in a few weeks when you have to sort of like revise this content. Sort of more in detail on this topic, we've actually got a blog over on the student blogs. I'll try and link it down below. That kind of goes over what you should do to make the most out of reading week. And I guess the Easter holidays is like one big reading week, so it kind of ties in. So I'll link it down below. It's worth a read. Like I wrote it about month ago, so it's quite up to date. I think as well, if this works for your routine and your lifestyle, I would really recommend getting into a routine of sort of treating uni like a 9 to 5. Obviously most of us have to work throughout uni, so it is, you know, you've got to sort of consider like, you know, Tuesday I'm at the pub 6 till midnight or whatever, so maybe that doesn't work on a Tuesday, but like the rest of the week, if you can sort of treat uni like your 9 to 5 job, then you can establish those clear boundaries of like, okay, after 5 the laptop's shut, I don't have to think about it, but I actually did X amount of hours of work today and I got X, Y and Z done. And it really does help you just sort of get in a routine, and you wake up and you don't have to think about, oh, you know, when am I going to start doing uni today? Like, you know, like I need to be out of bed at this time so I can be at the library at this time to start my work at this time. And, you know, it becomes automatic. You don't need to think about it. Easier to hold yourself accountable because you have those sort of strict guidelines by which you need to hold yourself accountable. So I found that really helped. I mean, I didn't do 9 to 5. I did like 10 till 6, I'd say. That kind of worked for me better because I'm not really good at getting out of bed in the morning. But, you know, even if it's like 10 till 3 or something like that, just so that you've got those boundaries of like, okay, the laptop shuts after this time and I enjoy my life in the evening, whatever. And this doesn't have to be strict, you know, if you want to go meet your friends one evening and you get up at say midday, that's fine. Like it's okay if it happens every now and then, you know, just have a routine generally. It really, really does help. Also in terms of a routine, if studying in the library works for you, try to like switch up the libraries you're in, if that again is an option in your city, or like the library space that you're in, because being in the same place constantly kind of doesn't let your brain differentiate between different pieces of content. Like I did psychology at uni, and there was a study where, I can't remember the ins and outs of it actually, but I don't know how to explain it, but basically it's easier to remember things if you learn things in different contexts because there's less interference of situational cues. This is obviously a little bit different for your dissertation, but it is just nice to switch it up. Otherwise your life will start to feel very monotonous. And something that a lot of you will notice as we go into April and May, all the people who study in the library go to the same spot every single day. Third year library culture was a real thing at my uni. Like every single day I'd bump into someone I knew from like, you know, I maybe hadn't seen them since first year, but like, oh my god, hi. I saw like my colleagues from work like every day in the library. I saw like my netball friends every day. Like I would just bump into people. One day my best friend accidentally came and sat next to me without even realising I was sat there, because we were both just in the library every day, whether we went together or alone. So third year library culture was actually really nice because it was sort of all the same faces every day. And you could sort of go up to them and be like, oh, how's the disc coming along? Like it was a nice little study break, you know, into a water fountain, going down to the cafe to fill up my teacup. It was actually very nice. So, you know, and you were sort of motivating each other as well. So I would recommend going to the library, to be honest, just for the sort of the social aspect of it. This final point ties into the first point again. Just really do look after yourself and keep an eye on burnout. As I said, you don't want to burn out before term resumes, and make sure again you have a routine so you can just switch off at a certain time of the day. Make sure you're making plans with your friends. You do deserve it, you know, you need something to look forward to. Make sure you're getting your exercise, even if that is simply walking to the library, walking to a cafe, walking the long way to your, you know, the supermarket. Just get some exercise because those endorphins really do help, and especially when the weather's like sort of starting to get so nice. And make sure you're eating properly as well. So yeah, basically those are my tips for Easter. So in summary, it is just a great time to knuckle down and just get a great head start on all your stuff, so you're not overwhelmed when term and normal uni activities resume, and try and stay in your uni city if you can. But yeah, other than that, best of luck to everybody sort of entering their final term, third year or not. It is a stressful time, but everyone's in the same boat, and you know, we've all got this. And just think about the summer, it's not far away, and you'll get those sort of uni-free weeks in your uni city with all your mates. It'll be brilliant. That is everything from me, and I hope you found this useful, and we will see you again soon.